Alright, good morning YouTube land. You hear me? Please let me know. Thank you guys. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in most Apple Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without transformation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the market in general and to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade movement, this webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific recommendations. Analysis of I share trades with trades and dates themselves based on my personal analysis. All the tools teachers identify specific areas trades and themselves are ultimately trading extremely risky, you decide on my personal trades, you use your own risk, and potentially lose your entire account even more. And I was profitable and have 15 drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use every zone value to get the outcomes and we can exact prices from the accounts. You can see my average zone prices in the master spreadsheet as well as prices that trades whether you like or want or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet later in your own values and use line to confirm zone prices and integrate with zone spread yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has extra prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which one personal side trade. Alright, good morning. Stuff's flying around here. Numbers just came out. Fed chirps. Fed circus acts as usual. You can see here, these markets are going ape shit to the upside. Pardon my language, but that's my grandpa Chooch's saying, and it's applicable here. Yeah, just nutty gap up in the video through complete failed breakdowns of all these balance areas. So it's obviously in a bullish state at new all-time highs. So that was a failed breakdown of that into the number, and then that, and then right through that, and then up here. So clearly bullish. Any of these zones coming back are going to be good easy inflection zone areas to buy. But you can see here something's going down. Something's holding this market up, but Hero is nosediving. So this isn't a huge move. We say a billion notional is noteworthy. It's getting there. So you can see this hanging up here. So that could be a sign. This could be the end. So this came in. I still have a long working here. So this doesn't negate my trades, right? This is just one ingredient I keep an eye on. You could use this in your trade plan to say, hey, I'm not taking longs. If I see this, I'm missing a trade here in NASDAQ. Hold on a second. I didn't take the Izzy off of this stop run event. We'll go over this here in a second, but I'm definitely missing Barks and Licks off of this trade here. I can get in right now. So my entry here, you see in the bottom left, 929, and I could put on 4. I'm going to put on Barks, Licks, and actually an Izzy now. This guy's still talking. Hold on here. Why do I have, what did I say? 929. Of course. Hold on, that's that. That's that. Let me get my squawk back up here. Hold on a second, guys. Scrambling. My own personal fast market right now. I'm also short wheat. We'll go over that trade. So real quick here. So trade here was I didn't put it on right away, the Izzy trade. We'll go over that here in a second. We got the stop run, Dumb and Dumber, Dumb Money Puke, usually not real selling. And then this was into the number and Fed talk, but then it did the retest, confirm. Algo guy's clearly bullish here. That's my filter for my bark and my lick trades. Actually, I never confirmed there's actually liquidity above there, but I'm sure there is. Let's see here. Let's get this over here.
CW short validated.
Yeah, so this is actually barely bullish, but I didn't make a mistake here. So did not make a mistake. So those trades are all on. It looks like I'm fighting the hero though, so we'll see. Like I was saying, I don't use that to disqualify my trades, but you can keep an eye on this thing, and if you keep seeing, when you're putting on trades opposing, big moves, you may say, I'm going to sit out trades that are opposing, hero. So you can see here, Mag 7's all right, and Nasdaq's kind of just sitting here. S&P is the one that's going down. Again, this is just one player in the market, right? So today, obviously, there's some big money playing after yesterday's move. We're at all-time highs. I'm sure these hedge funds are scrambling to get in. They don't want to miss the boat, which will probably turn around and crush them, but we'll see. I doubt it right now, but we'll see. So you can see this, heavy relative volume coming in. So my point is the hero is important, very important some days. Some days it's the only games in town. Other days, I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, let me refresh this. Oh, that's why. Let's see. I might want the right day for the hero. That might help. Sorry. It's still going down, but it doesn't look as drastic here. I did refresh this. I don't know why it was giving me yesterday's info, so let's look at these again. Yeah, Mag 7's ripping off the page, so that's obviously the highest weighted stocks. And regular Nasdaq's just kind of hanging there. So, all right. So anyway, I'm long Bark, which is blind. These are all my trading strategies, right? I look for these volume events in important areas. Bark is just an actual volume event anywhere that I demand an ATR. That's that blue line. We'll go over this new drawing tool. It's incredible. The pro version ATR retest confirm. That's my entry price, this yellow line. I turn mine to yellow. And then my stops down here where the yellow line is. So I have the spreadsheet as well. You guys have seen that. But if as long as the ATR is accurate, and this is in beta test right now, and I will be releasing it to anyone who's bought the basic tool here. That's this one here. As soon as I get the thumbs up from Johan, I'll release it. So this tool is available right now. You go to Bookmap Marketplace. This is the zone drawer. So it's just the basic. This isn't the one that announces retest. It just draws it and gives you the ATR at the bottom of the screen there. You can see right here. You can see the ATR and then draws its own. So that in itself isn't a godsend. But then the pro version, which is not out yet, it's beta testing. That tells you can hear the guy, Annie from my room, named him Bookmap Bob, which I like. You can hear Bookmap Bob talking about when these markets move away to confirm, based on my rules. So I always look to confirm volume events. I want to see an ATR out of the zone. That's how it tells me if it's a bullish event or a bearish event, right? So it announces when it hits the ATR, it announces when it retests and comes back and where you, and where you would enter. So that's that. We'll go over that link today. But I just want to see where I'm possibly getting out of some of these. So you can see here, this is, we come up with a thesis every day. So I come up with a thesis based on what's going on in the bar charts. This doesn't look as bullish as ES, but it's still very bullish, right? This was a balance breakdown. Then you had a fail breakdown here, and then this little guy yesterday, and then just rips right through everything. Through that. That's very bullish. So I did take, on this move back down, that's that stop run I just showed you. I did take the long off of that. So this is an important area with a volume event. That's just one trading strategy. I put on 3 trading strategies here. These are the trading strategies. So I put on the Izzy, that's the inflection zone I just showed you. And I put on the Bark, that's just a blind ATR retest confirm of any volume event. But I need Algo Guy in my direction to take that trade. That's my filter. That's that. That's the exponential moving average. We talk about it every week. I could post it again if you guys want more information on it. And then the liquidity trade. So that's a trade to the liquidity. I did fail to see if there is liquidity up here. There may not. Yeah, there is definitely. Well, there's always liquidity, it seems like. So you can see all this liquidity above here. And I would say NASDAQ is the #1 market to go fill its liquidity.
as far as, we talk about that this is a magnet. This is not, oh my God, guys want to sell up here. I want to get short. It's the opposite. It will hit this price at some point, very likely today, probably while we're on the webinar, right? This is the big money, put their offers in, then they push the market into the orders and they're out of the trade, right? So that's how you have to assume what's going on. Like I said, that's all I used to do as a trader. All my setups are based on my personal experience as a large trader, right? So I used to load up the ES with 1,000 lots and then get long and then wait and then watch it kind of test the waters, keep pushing it, and then when it got close to my order, I would step on the gas and everyone jump on my coattails because they see all these orders trading to the upside and they'd buy it right into my offer and I was out. So that's whether that's happening. I mean, it's still happening to this day, and even spoofing and so on and so forth. Either way, these guys want their fill, and they want their fill because the market's just sitting in here forever. So if something positive comes out, again, another ridiculous positive story, they're willing for this thing to blow right through there. So what does that tell you? That means they want to get their fill up there, and they're not afraid of it. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to, meaning it's a magnet. So like I said, we'll probably hit it probably in the next 10 minutes would probably be my guess. So we'll see. And then the other thing I'm working Barks and Licks on this ES trade. So, or this ES stop run. This is a official stop and hold.
CL1 validated.
Honing over.
Iceberg sell CL 150 contract.
I'll come here in a second. I'll come back here in a second. CL, the number is today because Monday was a holiday, so the crude numbers will be out here in 16 minutes. So I don't know if I want to be putting on trades before the number. Let's just take a quick look at the thesis stuff. Hold on, someone tell me something. Yeah, so this is a bullish market too. So what I'm seeing here is this originally broke out of that, came back, retested what? High volume node. That was the first sign of bullishness, continued bullishness. Right, and then you had a failed breakdown. I mean a breakout, I'm sorry. So this tried to break out of this, built more balance, broke out of this balance, through the high volume node of that. What should have happened? This thing should have done that. Instead, it builds more balance, then had another failed breakdown yesterday, then built more balance. This looks, thesis-wise, like it's going to run off the page to the upside, right? And then all what's really happening here too, so I just showed you all the stuff that's happening in here, and now it's forming one bigger balance. These are all traders that are placing bets. What happens when it starts to move up here? All the shorts are saying, oh crap, let me out, and that's where you get the huge moves. So I'm already going to trade double size on long, but I might trade triple size above this zone. So there was a question in my room yesterday. I'm not sure what he was not. I've been explaining this for forever of what I'm doing here, right? So just because I have a thesis doesn't mean I won't trade a short, right? So if this market comes up into this zone, and what's my driver? My real-time volume event that's happening right now. If that turns out to be a short setup, I'm going to take the short, right? I'm a day trader. If I get bullish setups, I'm going to take the longs, and I'm going to take them bigger size because my thesis is up. So just because I have a thesis doesn't mean I won't trade the other way, right? So that's how I trade thesis. That's all I ever talk about. So I'm not sure how he was not aware of what I meant. The other thing, algo guy is just pulled again. So you got these algos. That's why we call it algo guy. When this thing crosses, the blue is the short-term moving average, exponential moving average. The red is long. When you get the cross, you get those algos jumping in on. So you have that at that wind at your back too if you're going long. So these are the most recent setups. Somebody's coming in here selling this, so that wouldn't surprise me if they know what the number is. I know that's illegal, but we all know what goes on in these markets. So this is kind of telling me somebody thinks or knows the number is going to be bearish. Am I trading off of that? No, but it's something to note. If it does fail here, somebody had the number, right? You can see this very likely anyway. Right? This is all assumptions, guys, right? This is how you come up with, like, in your mind, what's going on, right? And it doesn't mean you just throw on trades because you think something's happening. But if these things start to confirm to the downside, you can say, hey, they know the number. I'm going to trade a little bigger to the downside, something like that. I'm not going to put on a trade at all here until this number comes out in 13 minutes. but just keep an eye on this area. If it sells off, we'll see once again the manipulation that occurs in these markets. All right, so anyway, I still have this order working here. This was before the number came out. We had the stop run, and it's kind of just hovering in here. Actually, was this threshold too? No, because it would have drawn a zone. Hold on. Yeah, you had some buy ice in here too. It wasn't threshold, but it's just going to bolster the case of the long here. So you had the ATR. That's that blue line. Touch that. Here's your retest.
Looking now to the
Confirm.
Greed index, currently sitting at 78 out of 100.
I'm going long
Cryptocurrency greed index.
at this yellow line. Oh, what do we have here? We got another number coming out. Oh, no, that's crude. He's talking about. So I'll go along. This is my entry point. So this is the same stuff that I have in the spreadsheet that you guys have seen me use forever, right? So now you can see everything right on the chart, right? So let's just plug this zone in and give you an example. 7150 to 69 was the zone. Where are we at here? What were we at? I don't even know. 7150 what? 5,000, 7150. Kind of lose track as it just goes up every single day. 507150. 69. So the current ATR, I'm using the Thinkorswim 5-minute Wilder's ATR. So this is supposed to be set to it, but this is not completely accurate, especially if you start. It takes about an hour to catch up. That's why you still want to have the spreadsheet to confirm this stuff. But so this is telling me the ATR right now is, you can see on the bottom left corner there. Let's see, where's that? 4.83. So it's a little bit off. I got 4.8 now. It's pretty much right on 4.85. So you can see here my entry would be at 77 with 8 contracts. Now come over here. You can see. So it was 7.43. So this is showing you everything that's on the spreadsheet. It's showing me the position size I can put on. There's your 0.7. So it's 0.7 of a regular contract. You times it times 10 to give you the micro size, right? So it's 7 micros. I said it's 7.43. So you can keep it at 7 or round up. I'm going to see if you can get this into a decimal where you can decide if you want to round up or not. But anyway, say 7, right? And then it's already hit the ATR there, that blue line. Here's your retest. Confirm my entry is at 77. That's what shows in the spreadsheet, right? So it's just a way to be able to trade directly from the chart where it saves time, so you have to go in here and plug in all these values, right? You still, like I said, you still want this because the ATR is off, especially now as we're beta testing it, but it's just an awesome thing. And then the other thing is it's showing you all these reversion trades. So we talk about the reversions, the tendency, ridiculous tendency for these markets to come back to the volume. This was the 1 ATR trade right there, right? Here's the 1 ATR. This is the stop for the 1 ATR. So hit the 1 ATR, back to the zone. We have that trade. That's this trade in the spreadsheet, right? It's the same stuff. So 75 out at 72. So it shows the 1, the 2s, and the 3s, and you can turn these on and off how you want. If you don't want these even on here with the zone drawing tool, you can turn them all off with the settings. All right, come over here. Where's it at? I'm on it. No, I'm sorry, down here. Right, so, oops. So you can change all the colors, and then advanced, it shows you, this is really cool. What is going on here? I'm very delayed. You can see all the thresholds here, and you can turn them on and off here. So, that's awesome. Good job, Johan. Like I said, I'm nominating him for induction to the Trader Hall of Fame, if there is one. I may make one myself to get him in there. All right, so we're just waiting to see what happens here. It's just kind of hovering. I am long NASDAQ. I actually forgot to put my stops in case this turns out to be a loser. Let's see here. All right, so markets are just sitting here waiting for something. I don't know. We already have the number. Fed guy is still chirping, I think. So let me put the stops in here. Actually, I don't even need to do this. I already know this is accurate, right? So my stop is this yellow line. I changed mine to yellow. It's the short aggressive, right? So it reads as short aggressive. If I were to go short, that's where I would go short. Now I'm long, that's where I stop out of my long, right? It's the same price. And that's the same stuff in the spreadsheet you can see here on the ES trade, right? So if I were to get long here, if it does touch 77, my stop is at 63.50. Well, if I was going to short that event, my entry is at 63.50. So that's why it's the same, means the same thing. Once I'm long, this is my stop, right? So I got to put this in. This is, you can see at the bottom left there, it populates 17,861. So I got Bark, Lick, and Izzy on. Put that in here because I know I'll forget. Working. All right. All right, so this is the best case scenario as far as reducing my risk. So you're going to see here what happens. New event, you got sell ice coming in, threshold sell ice, right? Threshold meaning it's the value that is worthy of trading, right? Versus I've watched millions of these things over the last 7 years. I've determined what is worth trading and not worth trading, right? Most people get the sub chart here, the SI indicator, and they want to trade or look at every spike on this thing. Let me take this thing off here real quick, right? I don't trade events that are not, that are tiny. So I need to see, let's see what this one was. This one was 153. So my threshold for NASDAQ is 150. So that's why that's true. So that's what these are set to. I should just showed you the threshold page too. If you want to use a different threshold, you plug them in. It'll only draw if it's that threshold. We talk about there are days where you'll keep seeing 300, 400, 300, 400, 300, right? And that type of day, or at least that time period, you don't want to be taking trades off of 150 icebergs. You want to say, okay, I'm up my threshold today. Well, you can go to that zone drawing tool and put in the new threshold, until it settles down. So that's another awesome thing. The other awesome thing about this tool, when you replay your days, it will draw all these zones and announce and everything else. So you can really and you speed up the day, and then you can see where the zones are drawn and whether you would have got in and out. And when you're practicing your trades, talking about practice, not a game, practice. That'll, Alan Iverson, I say the same thing every time, guys, but you got to make yourself laugh. Anyway, you should be practicing, right? Again, I say it every day as well. You're going against the brightest minds on the planet. You need to work. You can't just sit down and trade by the seat of your pants. So you can, but you're not going to be around for very long. So highly recommend you practice. If you get the zone tool, it'll draw these zones in the replay mode. All right, so that market has just completely died.
Now 5 minutes away from the bottom of the app, we see the release of the weekly EIA natural gas change. Forecast sees a draw of 58 BCF on the prior draw of 49 BCF.
Hold on one second. All right. So waiting to go long here in ES. I've already long 3 strategies there. The other trade I put on was next to Madam Shizzle because she pointed it out. I was doing the zones here. She's a trader in my room, and this is actually what I want from my room. Right? She pointed out, wanted to know what I saw in ZW, and I noticed that we had an Izzy in here. That was this trade. She said, what's your take on the market? She did put on a trade pre-market, which I will talk to her about that. She put it on because the market closes at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Central and then reopens at 8:30. I would not be putting on trades into that close period, and I think she got smoked on that trade. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a nice learning experience not to put on trades into that little time period. Grains are just really weird that they're the hours. But anyway, market moved this. You had this balance. Market broke down. So the market's still bearish. Short term, intermediate term, it's bullish, but short term or long term, it's bearish. And long term is the biggest time frame, right? Most important time frame. All right, you hear this other stuff firing off. I'm not trading HE right now. So anyway, came up into here, got the volume event. That was this, and I took the short, right? So it was ripping off the page, and it looked like it was going to $10, and we got the sell ice up here. Not only was it an inflection zone, now you had big money selling up here too. I took that trade aggressively, and here we are. So that's a very nice trade. I did get out of one of them. I had 3 on. I got out of one at the yellow lug because that's one of the areas that I will piece out at, and I'm very consistent with my exits, right? So as straight out of, and here we go with the little mini rants, straight out of trading in the zone. Get the book, Mark Douglas, incredible book. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. And these are my levels that I will piece out of my trade if it stutters or has a problem getting through there, right? So this one at the time, it was bouncing off yellow lug. That was just a Ludwig level, right? And these are my other areas I look at. So let's see where else I can piece out here. Because I did get through there. You can see now it's still heading lower. I did miss a trade here too. This was a pick strategy I missed. So that was that Izzy zone, and I could have put a pick trade on. What's the pick trade? That's just another strategy here. Profiles and courage. Take any trade that moves into a market profile, composite high or low. Trades can be taken if market moves out of composite. I'll show that if we see it, but it's an aggressive entry, meaning I don't wait for the retest, right? So this is that exact area. So I missed this trade. Should have put that one on. I just didn't see it. I'm glad to have the Izzy on because I wouldn't have seen that either if it wasn't for Mano Chisel. And actually, this looks like this was depending on Algo Guy, I could have put on more different strategies here. Now Algo Guy is still bullish, so I can't do anything on the short side there off of that event. Barks and licks, so I'm still short a couple. And where I will get out of some more is so this is a good example on drawing or combining these value areas, right? These are single days. Single day, single day, single day, single day. Value area is 70% of the
Nat gas iceberg by NG, 150 contracts.
nat gas numbers today too. Actually it's coming out. Wait, is it 10 o'clock? I thought it came out earlier than. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So nat gas is in a minute, right? Crude, when there's a holiday on a Monday, it comes out on Thursday. That comes out at 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock Central. So we got another half hour to the crude number. So I actually,
for the EIA natural gas chain.
I could trade this if I wanted to, this area, because we got a half hour, but we'll see. I might come back to that. I was thinking it was coming out right now. So anyway, good lesson in merging these. So when you see these blue shades, that's a composite. Those are days merged, value areas of individual days merged together, right? So this is how I would do this. As long as you get a daily value. Hold on here. Why? There we go. So you get your value area right there. The next day overlapped it by 50% or more. It's pretty close, right? I mean, 50% would be right here, but this engulfed this day. So you would do that, right? If the next day was outside of that, I wouldn't merge it, but that's inside of it, so I'm going to merge that, right? Actually, I thought that was going to be a 3-dayer, but now when you merge those two, it's not. So, but you can see how this market reacted to this area a couple different days, right? It was struggling to get in there, finally got in there, and then it gapped up into this one, and this is the trade that I missed. So these are very, very powerful. The edges of these things are very, very powerful. Just another area that I look for. So it's an important area that I look for real-time volume events to trade. That's the edge. It's the best edge that I've ever seen as a trader. I know I say it every day, but it's the truth. So like what I tell you guys all the time, you have your own areas, I'm sure. So great. If you make money with those areas, I will promise you, if you wait for this kind of activity in those areas, you're going to get a much better read on what's going on and a much better edge. Why? Because you're getting loaded up traders, aka fuel, in that area. When it's wrong and say it confirms in your area, say you won't love this as a resistance area, like up here, like I did for the Izzies. Well, I already know it's a resistance area, right? I already know it's an important area. I don't just put on trades there unless I see my qualifications to put the trade on. Now I know somebody was buying here aggressively, ran into mouthfuls of sell ice, and they were wrong. And then they need to get out. That's how you have to look at the market. It's very simplistic, and that causes the move down. That's the fuel for the move. All right, what's going on here? That's NG. I'm going to wait for that to settle down a little bit. All right, ZS is firing off too. I mean, these markets are just... Oh, here. Back to NASDAQ, sorry. So what I want to do here now... So actually I can do a couple different things, right? I don't think did this qualify or confirm this. This did not confirm this as a new bullish event, but minimum what I can do now. So remember my stop was down here. Now I'm going to move it up to right there. That's the ATR below there, but I'm not going to stop out right there. It's too close to that zone, so I'm personally going to move it down to here. You don't have to do that. I don't like stopping out in prior events, so I will move it down to here, right? So you can see my original stop was way down here where this yellow line is. That's the aggressive short, aka the stop if you're long. That was at 861. With a new event, I now, and you guys heard me rant on this a couple Thursdays ago about a guy in my room that was trailing a stop out of nowhere, and he knows better. I'm not going to get into it again. He already got his verbal lashing for about 2 weeks. Anyway, I move my stop now up to there. Like I said, I am personally, you could stop out right here. You're like, okay, this shouldn't come back there. I'll get out. But anywhere near this zone, I don't want to be stopping out because it's a very good chance it's going to bounce off that thing. So I'm going to move it down here. I'm just going to move it to 890. I'm still saving myself 30 points of risk, right? Even at 890. It's literally like 12 point, 13 point difference. So I'm fine with that. The original stop was supposed to be at, what did I just fill on? It's got to be ES. 02 quarter. So I'm risking 12 more points if this comes back. All right, so that was ES. I'll come there in a second. Let me put these stops in because I know I'll forget. What did I say, 90? You guys got questions, please throw them in the YouTube channel. That's pretty much all I see. I don't see, like last week, people weren't seeing my screen in Discord. I'm not monitoring the Discord chat, so please just put it in YouTube if there's an issue with something. Why can't I? All right, that's good enough. I'll hear if it fires up. All right, so a couple things going on here. And now, remember, I have bark and lick on. Remember this liquidity up here? Remember I said we're going to go up there and fill it? Because it's not that I'm Nostradamus. It's because it's what happens because these guys run the show. And they're going to push the market into their orders. Like I said, doesn't have to happen right now. This can drop 300 points and then come back. Very likely it's going to happen right now. But anyway, I'm long bark and lick from this one. Now, if I get the same pattern, I'm going to add to those trades based on a new event. Stop goes right where I'm stopping out of that based on this, right? So we'll hear it if it retests. The other trade, wheat's going to 0. That's cool. Keep going. So you got liquidity down here. I couldn't take the trades off of this, the barks and licks, like I said, because the algo guy was bearish, but that's getting smoked, which is good. All right, so I'm long barks and licks in ES as well. All right, so we already talked about this. I filled at 77. You can see this liquidity up here. You can bet your you know what that it's gonna hit it because this is the big money. Right? It could go straight there. It might play games, but I'll be willing to bet around the golf in Scottsdale, and it's not cheap right now that we hit that. Probably, I'm not going to go on the webinar, but we were going to hit it today, and it's already almost hitting this one now. So what can I do now? We have a new volume event in NASDAQ. Stop was trail to that. Now I'm going to trail my stop to that. And the great thing about this tool, there you go. Like I don't have to go in that. You guys see on these webinars, I have to always enter the values in the spreadsheet. Well, when I have this drawing tool, I can just hover over the line. And that's my price. My new stop price is 39, but I'm going to do the same thing here, right? I'm not stopping out right there in this event. I'm going to move it a little bit below there. I'll put it at 930. So now this is obviously a guaranteed winner if it comes back, and I'm not trailing my stop to break even, just to break even. I'm trailing my stop based on something that happens in the market. And let me put these in. And then I haven't put my stops in for ES either, so I got to do that. So I'm moving this 17,930. All right, those are all working. If it comes back, other than that, my liquidity trade. So the liquidity trade is a trade to the liquidity. So I showed you a little bit ago the trading the zone document. Those are areas I will piece out of the bark trade or any other trades I have on as it hits important areas. Liquidity is all or nothing for me, right? So I put that lick on. It's either it hits this or an opposing volume that stops me out. That's it. I don't have any other areas that I get out of liquidity trades. So it's liquidity or bust for that particular strategy. Some other areas I may be able to get out of some here. Let's see. I got 4 on. What do I have on? 4? Yeah, I got 4 on. That was baby lug. up here. You see the Ludwig level. I say lugs during the webinars. It's Ludwig levels. I just don't want to say Ludwig levels 80 times. You know, you could get out of a couple here or one or something here. I don't. You know, it's baby lug by itself. If there was something else, I mean, we do have extreme standard deviation of VWAP, and you get these algos that snap it back, as you're seeing right now. The other thing too is when you do see an area responding for that day, pay attention because it's probably going to respond again. This didn't quite get there, but it's already responded once at daily value area extreme standard deviation. I mean, VWAP standard deviation. Right, so this is VWAP, this is one standard deviation, otherwise known as daily value area, DVA. And this is 1.5. So it's bounced off the 1.5 once. If it comes up here again, I'll contemplate getting out of a couple of them, and definitely I'll probably be getting, unless it can blow right through here. The lugs are the most powerful things as far as support and resistance that I've ever seen. So I will very likely be getting out of that trade up there at near 1675. And that's the other area too is, and this is right around that extreme standard deviation. If it fails to get through this resting liquidity, I'll get out of a couple too, and that's one of my areas. It's listed right there. Where's it at? Struggle to get through heavy resting liquidity. All right, so they get their fills a lot of times, and then they got their fill. They say they may be wanting to go short. You're never going to know what they're trying to do. Stop wasting your time thinking you're trying to figure it out, right? But so many times the market will come up, tag this liquidity, they get their fills, and then it turns around and goes the other way. So that's why if it struggles up here, I'm going to get out of some too. Other than that, this may come right down right now and stop me out. But I trail my stop. It's going to be basically it'll still be a winner. I forgot what price I got in it originally. Now it'll be a scratch. I got in right here. So if this comes back, I'm breaking even. But once again, I'm not trailing my stop to break even because I don't want to lose now because it moved in my favor. I'm doing it because of my rules with my volume events. All right, that's a lot of straight talking, you guys. I'm going to take a break. Let's see if you guys got any questions here. Riv says, when are you having Scott's Pro version come out? Bookmap Sports, there is a bug in Scott's Stones Pro. Right, so that's the point. So we're beta testing it. Members of my room have it right now. They're the initial beta test, but eventually we'll have a beta test for the general public. I mean, not the general public, but for people that bought the basic version. All right, I never put this. All right, so see, this guy's talking. So now we get whipsaw land. These clowns talk. New event though, right? So I'm going to trail my stop off of this. My stop was originally down here. This is ES. I got long there. At the yellow line, 77. Now, my stop was here. Now you got a new event. Now I'm going to move it up to there. And it's through that zone. So I'm saving myself, looks like 5 points of profit, or 5 points of risk. That price is 68. So I'm going to put those. I forgot to even put my stops in originally. So now that my stops are at 68, if it comes back, yes, this is the risk when these guys. I mean, there's always risk in any trade, anything market related, obviously. But when these Fed guys are talking, these algos pick up their keywords, and you are risking. They say something halfway negative, then you get these swipes, these selling. They're just trading off of its keywords. So if you are willing to sit through trades while these guys talk, you just got to accept the results. If they say something that is not in favor of your trade, that's it. They could say something. I mean, they're usually saying something bullish every time. So it's not a bad idea to hold longs through their talks. But if this rips down, I'll accept the consequences of putting on a trade while they're talking. There's plenty of trades to be had when Fed clowns aren't chirping, right? So that's your prerogative when you want to trade when these guys are talking. Just know and don't lose your mind if that thing swipes down, if he says something and stops me out, it stops you out, right? So anyway, my stop was here, down at 62.75 looks like, and I'm moving it up to there based on a new event. And if this holds, right, if this doesn't confirm to the downside, which is that ATR line, I can put barks and licks off of this guy too, right? And we see that liquidity up there. Like I said. So we'll see what happens. See if we can get there on this webinar. All right, let's see what else you guys got. Where would you piece out of ZW if you hypothetically had one contract left? Well, if I only had one, I would try to hold to the blue lug. That's my ultimate target, right? That's the beauty of the lugs too. They're awesome. They're awesome targets too. So they're great trades, support and resistance, but they're incredible areas to hold to because the markets gravitate towards them ridiculously as well. Anyway, that blue lug is real close to the bot to this. I mean, this is probably 77. It's about 5 cents. So I wouldn't give you a verbal lashing, and I like to give a verbal lashing when people do stupid things. I would not give you. This is not a stupid idea. If it does get down around 77, you get out there. You got baby lug. You got extreme standard deviation. You could try to squeeze out another 5 points, and that's where you can use your price change algo or the volume or the price change market pulse or the volume pressure impulse. More probably volume pressure in that instance to see if it's agreeing. And tick strike. Actually, speaking of tick strike, I got to turn that on. That's how you can judge if it may push through that area. But that's already a really, really good trade. If you got short there, I don't think you only have. I mean, if you only have one on, then try to get to the blue lug. If not, get out there. All right. Of course, right when I turn this on, I start to get annoyed.
Feds Jefferson says the Fed wants to move in a way that would not lead to stops and starts in policy and increases the policy uncertainty.
All right, so again, you're going to watch. You're going to hear him say something, and you're going to see this stuff reacting, right? So I'm long. If I get stopped out here, that's the way it goes. On to the next trade, right? This one will be a scratch, and I'll lose less. I'm almost stopped out right here right now. If it trades 30, I'm out of these NASDAQ longs. Again, I can't remember if I could have got some up here. Yeah, so I mean, that was your choice. I decided not to do it, but you definitely could have got out at baby lug. It definitely bounced there twice today. So I should have probably got out of one, especially with this guy talking, but I didn't. So, sucks. That's the way it goes. I'll scratch that trade if that gets down there. But you can see here it is struggling at this prior event, so hopefully this prior event can hold this thing and it rips back up. If not, I'm out on to the next trade. This officially is a bearish setup now, though, but I can't really do much with it as far as my filter. Actually, unless that was an Izzy zone. Actually, that is an Izzy, I think. Hold on. Yeah, so watch what I do here, right? I just wasn't paying attention. If I get stopped out of my bark and lick longs, I'm going short Izzy. And I'm long Izzy too off of this zone. So I got long off of that zone, got a volume event into that zone. I will stop out of my longs, and I'm going to go short Izzy here, where I'm going to stop out of my longs. Just like right now. Of course, seriously, I move my mouse there, and the thing swipes down 10 points. So I didn't get the Izzy on. Hopefully it'll pop back up there. That's just, I mean, you guys heard me complaining about it yesterday. It's just absolutely amazing. Move my mouse there, 10 points. Can't get in. So I never got that short off. So it'll probably come back. That was probably my stop out on ES. That was. So stopped out on ES, but I saved myself because a little money because of this new event. So this is a bearish event as well. The algo guy's bullish though. Nothing to do there on the short side, and then there was nothing here Izzy wise. This was through the last Izzy zone at all-time highs. So there might be a new zone here, but nothing yet. I mean, if this turns out to be directional conviction or something. The other thing too, if this does turn around and come back, there's not a lot here. It's already gapped through all this stuff, and this could come all the way back. Who knows? Nobody knows, right? That's why we use our real-time volume events to help guide us in what's going on. All right, so I'm not chasing that Izzy. I missed it. It's, of course, straight down 20 points through it. That was my own fault. I didn't get over here quick enough to put the trade in because I didn't recognize that was an Izzy short. So hopefully you guys in my room got that. Anyone who's using my inflection zone, speaking of which, let me post this. I forgot. So this is all the stuff that I use in my trading. So there's a zone drawing tool I talked about the entire webinar. There's my course, so if you want to learn how to trade these events and the ATR and how to draw the zones, I mean, again, you don't really need, if you have the drawing tool, you don't need to draw the zones, but you can draw the zones yourself too. You don't need the drawing tool, but it's, trust me, once you start drawing zones with the antiquated Bookmap drawing tool, you're going to want this drawing tool. And then, so this is where you can get, my trade room gets access to the inflection zones and the spreadsheet that the zone drawing tool is based off of. But if you can't get in the trade room, then you can get this stuff here. This is the ATR sheet that you've been seeing. There's the inflection zones that I've been showing, and if you want both of them, you can subscribe to those and get them in case you can't get in the room. If you come to my room, you get this stuff for free. And then what else here? Website, email. If you want to ask a question, I'm not gonna go into huge responses, right? If you want a one-on-one with me, book it, and then you get a full hour to ask me whatever you want. Twitter handle, I post stuff, not that often, but I've been posting a lot more often lately. There's my trade room, and these are the things I use. So, if you come to my trade room, you absolutely have to. You don't have to have all this stuff, guys. This is the stuff I use, but you definitely want to get this stuff, right? The Bookmap. You need the MBO bundle to get the SI indicator that powers the events. So I had someone in my room ask me the other day, well, why do I need to get I don't know what he's doing in my room if he doesn't have the MBO data, the stop iceberg information. He's like, well, why do I need to get that if I have my zones? Because the zones are driven by the MBO data from the add-on, from the SI subchart on-chart add-on. So you have to have that to get the zones. That's just that's the engine that draws the zones, right? And then what else here? Apex. So actually, you want to jump on this puppy right now? They just came out last night. It's up to, they haven't had one of these in a while. 90% off. So guys, you can't beat this, right? Even if you're, especially if you're practicing or you're learning my method, don't trade your own money. Get one of these things. It costs this is a new website, so I'm not sure where this stuff is, but here we are. Right, so the ones that I use for all those trading strategies are the $150,000 ones. I don't understand how this works, by the way, like how this is scrolling here. So it's that one, right? So if you get this one, come on, where's it at? I'm not understanding how they have this working. Here it is, right here, right? So use that code. Well, use that code for any percent off that they have, right? So this is it, and it costs you, once you plug this in, it's $30. Right, so your risk is $30. So the thing is, you can even get in here, and what they have going is a 1-day qualification too. So you can get in here, put a 5,000, because if you lose, so in that, again, this is really bothering me that how they have this. I'm trying to find this, but the whole idea is if you lose right here, so you can lose 5,000. You got to make 9,000 before this moves off the screen. This is ridiculous, by the way. I don't know why they have this like this. As long as you make 9,000 before you lose 5,000. Okay, I can't look at that anymore. If you make make 9,000 before you lose 5,000, you qualify for the account. So and they have a 1-day qualification thing. So you can go right now. It's not all the time. You can go in there and qualify. Put out a trade that's you're risking $5,000. That you're halfway. If it's a winner, you're halfway there, right? If you lose $30. Well, I can tell you if you're putting on a trade on your trading account, $30 is nothing. You're not worried about $30. So go in there and take a couple shots for the amount that you're paying for those combines or whatever they call them, tryouts. That's my advice. But the main thing is to use those if you don't. You want to practice. I'm not talking about a game. I'm talking about practice. If you want to practice, or you're just learning. And the thing is, you can get in there and you're working on it, and if you do well, then now you're funded. Now you got a 5,000. I call it a 5,000 account because that's what it is. It's not a $150,000 account because you can only lose $5,000, right? So anyway, I go over it every week. I've been using them for over 2 years. They've done everything they said they're going to do as far as payouts. I've been paid out multiple times on multiple accounts. They do that. You get funded right. You get the funded account right away. Like this. That's why I endorse that one. There's a million of them out there now. That's the one I endorse and put my name on. So there you go. All right. So I never got short here. If I did get short that, so this is what sucks, right? So now I got to decide if this comes back, if I'm going to put that trade on. Remember I missed it at 30. That's short. Well, it's already hit an area that I would have got out of some. So I don't usually put on a trade if it comes back. If I would have already got out of some, right? So I'm going to delete that personally. That sucks. Sucks for me, and you can see Here's another area. So I would have put on 4 there. I would have definitely been down a half here. Or actually, I would have been on a 3/4. What's that? We just fired off there. Why? Because that was yellow lug, that was VWAP, and it's a prior volume event. I would have been on a half. So I'm not putting it on now if it comes back because I had already been on a half of them. So that sucks for me. That was a 40-point winner, 30-point winner. That's just my fault. I did not realize we were at that level, that Izzy zone. So that sucks. So other than that, I stopped out of ES. See what's going on here. There's really nothing to do on the short side here, and now I'm just waiting for a new event. I can't go long off this event either because it disqualified, meaning it hit the ATR below that volume event. So nothing to do there. Let's see what else was firing off here. Crude number is coming out in 8 minutes. So we got a bunch of nat gas stuff going off. The other great thing about this zone drawing tool, you get it in text too. So it's telling you when it validated, invalidated, disqualified, right? It's awesome. So I did not do anything with the screw trade. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of just bounced around here. But we'll see in the number if these guys knew what was coming out. The sell ice for like an hour. So I'll be really shocked if it sells off. Not. All right, what else is going on? I'm still short 2 wheat. We're at 81. So this is another man. Shows the last where I get out. Yellow lug is at, or red lug is at 72. We got that market profile composite that's like right around here, 77, and you got liquidity. So I would definitely, if it struggles here, I would get out of your trade. I'll probably get out of there myself. Let me know if it gets down there. All right, so you got any other questions since nothing's going on right now? Where would you be? There it is. And that. Yeah, I definitely want to move my stop. I didn't move my stop, so my original stop was above this zone. Because do you see the consistency of what I'm doing here? It doesn't matter what market you're trading. That's why you're doing yourself a disservice if you're staring at this piece of, you know what, all day long, right? I mean, I still trade it. This is the market I made millions of dollars in, right? But it you know, most of the time it's the most whipsaw market you can trade because there's so many cross currents in it. Doesn't mean you can't make money in it. It's very frustrating most of the time, right? Why do you just want to? I don't know why everyone just gravitates towards ES. I really don't understand it, right? Branch out. Doesn't matter what you're trading as long as you know the thresholds, and you don't need to even know them if you have the drawing tool because they draw them. It's the same patterns. Take advantage of other markets that are moving around. The other thing is too, we always talk about, I've said for years, some of you guys don't have the bandwidth to watch 5, 10 markets. I'm watching 20, right? So some of you don't have the bandwidth. But when you have the tool, it tells you, and you get the alerts. So you don't even have to be watching. Like, oh, I just heard something in ZS. Oh, it just retested. Okay, now I'm going to go pay attention to it. Begging you guys to branch out to other markets. So anyway, yes. So my original stop was up here. So I shorted that as he already showed that. Got a new event. Stop gets moved down to here. You can move it a little bit above that. It's already traded through this one, so I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't stop out in the middle of that guy, but so should be 89 as your new stop, right around there. So that's a very good trade. What else? Just got some nat gas stuff. Let's see what happened here after the number. So nat gas had a huge gap up. You want to pay attention to this market when this thing starts moving around. It's nutty. Like you can catch $200-300 tick trades in minutes. Hey, look at that. I can't believe that Izzy's. I wonder if I missed a trade here. Izzy zone. Just like wheat, right? Same exact type of setup. Came back to the bottom of this balance. Sorry, color is not working there. Balance area. Breakdown. Retest the bottom. Some of the best trades out there. Volume event. I'm sure. Well, look, I'm sure there was because every trade I miss is a winner. There you go. Sorry for the negative self-talk, but you guys should have heard me in the old days. Like I've really worked on that. Actually, I'm sorry. That was not wheat. That was not natural gas. That was corn. I don't know what I'm looking at there. Sorry. Sorry about that. This is what I meant to chart. Corn looked good too, but I'm not trading corn. Anyway, this was the gap up. I don't know what I was smoking right there because I just told you guys it gapped up. Here's the gap up, right? So this is a potential Izzy trade. any of these zones coming back, this one especially because you had the breakout here, that's a really good trade. I would probably trade double size on that. You know, that's just intermediate term though. Obviously, long term, this is still bearish, big time. But intermediate term, it broke out of this guy. You can trade those. Sorry, I can't believe I just did that with corn. I'm telling you it gapped up, and then I'm telling you it's below balance. Sorry about that. All right, let's see what's going on here. There's nothing really to do here yet. A little lower would. Forgot where we were here. Let's see. A little lower, we're into this zone here. It's pretty close. I mean, you could take this if this holds, turns into a bullish setup. You could take it easy. I'd prefer a little lower, and you can see what's down here. So we already know it's coming down here because the big money will push it there, so they can get their fills. So we'll wait for that. Let's just take a quick look at the lugs. What's going on here? Well, you know what? I don't know if she. No, I don't think she rolled these yet. She has not rolled to. You gotta go to the Feb contract. Let's see. I know it was close yesterday. Yeah, you got 75,000 versus 35. She just hasn't rolled them, so we gotta send her a note to roll them. So no lug information for me. It did fail to get back into this market profile composite. That is not bullish. All right, so I'm sure there was a pickup here that I could have taken. Just missed it. I'm not trading into those numbers anyway. It's when, just like trading into Fed talk, right? All bets are off. They say something, all bets are off on a new number. It's new information hitting the market. All right, let's see what's going on here. X7 is just kind of heroes hanging up there. Russell's at its lows. Yes, just bouncing around. What I have noticed with this thing though, when you see these flow signals, when the market's at like extremes, it's almost always opposing, right? So you had a flow here, the market sold off a little bit, you had another flow, it did move higher, but then the market turned around. So I don't, it doesn't really say which way the flows are unless this is color coded. I can't tell. I don't think it is. I've just noticed like if the market is like extended or at highs and you see flow, the flow is usually the opposing volume or hedging, you know what I'm saying? So you can build a trade plan off of that alone. Speaking of which, there was, did this hit the 2 ATR2? No. So just the one worked here off of this event. This was actually for the reversion trades. This is just another trade that we do. That's these dotted lines on here. This is actually an A+ reversion trade back up here, as long as the relative volume isn't extreme, and it's not. The other thing, we have a disqualifier. I don't mean to be jumping around here, guys. I don't usually talk about the reversion trades on the Bookmap webinars just because I can't take the trades because they're too fleeting, but see what the footprint looks like as far as overall volume. Yeah, I wouldn't be taking this reversion to that event. Why? We say 30,000 for a bar. This is a reversal bar, 10-tick reversal. All right, CL numbers out. 10-tick reversal. So it'll draw a new bar once it reverses 2.5 points. Well, you can see here 30,000 is a lot. Well, that's over 60,000 contracts, right, or close to it. So what does that mean? Well, that means there's a lot of loaded up traders in here, long and short. How are the longs feeling down here? Do you really want to hope it comes back to that zone when these guys are going to be very likely puking out? I don't, so I would not take that reverse trade. This is one of our disqualifiers. Again, I'm just touching on it. I'm not going to get into it at length, but I don't want to hope it comes back to this event when I know there are 60,000 contracts in this area and the longs are not feeling very good. So this can easily just do that, right? There's plenty of reversions to be had where you're not having really heavy volume, so I would not take that trade anyway. It's still probably going to retest it because that's just what it does. What I was saying, one of the great reversion trades are if you get the entry, you see that dotted line, into a prior event, right? This one I would not take though, just because of that 60,000 contracts. And that's great information too. You're very likely going to start seeing some, this moves a little lower, you're going to be seeing some stop runs. It's just common sense. There are loaded up traders in this area from basically 80 down to 71. You're going to see pukes. Very, very, very likely. So keep an eye on that. Other than that, there's really nothing going on. I missed this 30-point winner here in NASDAQ. My own fault. Let's see what's happening in crude. remember, throw your questions into YouTube as well. Let's see. TRS, any plans in the future to bring the zone drawing tool to other trading platforms? Possibly. I think he may have it for NinjaTrader. You're still going to need the MBO data, the package from Bookmap, because it kind of circumvents if he's able to draw it on the other ones, it kind of circumvents that need, and then this is that's what it's drawing from. So I'm not sure if he's even going to do it, but it may come out on other platforms. That's down the line though. But yeah, it would be good to get it on other things. All right, so CL's ripping. This is what I was waiting for, right? So this is about to be. I will trade if it gets through this zone. I mean, I'm already about to do it. Right. So you see, it just validated these events. We talked about this earlier. Right. We already talked about what should have happened. This thing should have died. Didn't die. Now it's breaking out of that balance. I'm going to trade triple size to the long. It's like just based on my thesis. Then I wait for real-time events, which we're getting. These are stop runs. There's usually fades. I would combine these two, right? They basically are back-to-back, 400 here, 500 here. So you got 1,000 stop runs. So what I'm going to do is adjust this zone here. Let's move this down. Move this up. All right, so it's reading off of that prior event. I just moved it, but it adjusts to it. It's awesome, like I said. All right, so I'll plug this in too, just to make sure. Plug it in the spreadsheet. 62 to 33, pretty wide area, but there's 1,000 stops here, so it's what it is. Let's move that in here, and I'm going to be ready to fire on the long side if my conditions are met. 78.62. 78.34. The beauty of the spreadsheet, and you can even see it here, it's telling me, actually, that's pretty much right. See, it's telling me based on that zone size and the volatility, I haven't put in the ATR yet, it's telling me I can put on 7, right? Well, that 7 is right here. 7.8. I want to see if you can get this so we get the decimal. So I would trade 8, and I'm going to trade 24 if these turn out to be bullish. It's not quite through that zone yet. Let's just make sure I'm not going to be buying into a red lug. That's my specialty, is not checking the lugs. You do not want to be buying into the major lugs if you can avoid it. Yeah, we got a while for the lug, so that's fine. So here's a good example of merging these days too to make a market profile composite. You got that day, this day overlap this day by more than 50%. You merge those two. This is today. I'm not going to do anything with that yet. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that is today, sorry. So merge. So what I would do here too, this was the holiday, because you got, this is a composite, this is a composite, this is the holiday, just merge those 3. Now you got one Whopper composite. This is a Whopper. That's more fuel. It's just the same look. I mean, it's a different look at the same thing is what it is. Merge those balance areas that I was showing you. So this is showing, like, we're already busting out of this guy. That's very bullish, right? So I'm going to trade these puppies. This is one of my 6 distinct setups. This is a stop and hold. Again, this is what I talk about. And these are all my, actually, I always forget to have this ready to go to show you guys. One second. Because there's always new traders on here, right? So that's why these Bookmap webinars, I really go over the basic stuff over and over and over and over. So that's this here. So this is the course, right? You don't have to get the course to be a member of my room. It probably behoove you to get it so you can catch up quickly, because I'm trading live. I don't have time to go over all this stuff individually, but it goes over everything. It's almost 5 hours long. And I'm going to be adding stuff here very soon. The new setup and a couple other things. Anyway, this is how to draw zones if you don't want to get the zone drawing tool. That's the old days. I have the zone drawing tool. And then here are all the setups I'm talking about, right? So this curve looks like it's going to be stop and hold, right? So it's a stop run where the big money comes in behind it. And how you can tell that too is this. This is how you know. Look at this. I mean, it isn't, this was part of the number, obviously. You have 4 times normal volume. That's big money, right? So we got stop runs. So you got the retail trader puke. You got another event right here inside this. So I'm just going to keep it as it is. And yet, you don't see me long yet, right? I need my conditions to go long. I need this thing to get out of here and tag that ATR. That proves to me these events are bullish, right? All right, something's firing off here. Oh, yes. So I said I wouldn't take this reversion. It just worked. I mean, that's fine. You're rolling the dice with that much, with that 60,000 contracts up here. You're rolling the dice that it comes back into it. But it did. There's your retest. That line is the retest line. Doesn't have to touch the exact zone. This is actually 10% of an ATR. That's good enough for a retest. So if the algo guy was bearish, I would put on shorts here. But I'm personally, that's just my filter. If you guys love this area to short, well, you got all your conditions met with this event. This is a bearish event. Real time, something happening in real time. It confirmed with the ATR. You even got your retest. Now you're about to get your failure. You could go short right there if you want. I am not, because I use this as my filter for bark and lick trades. So if this eventually pulls down where the blue is below the red, then I'll take barks and licks to the short side. All right, God, I feel like I've been talking just nonstop. I mean, I'm always talking nonstop, but this one feels a little more. Here I'll turn down sharply. I'm not seeing sharply. I mean, yeah, right here, maybe this is what you're talking about. It's kind of just bouncing around here. X7 is just sitting at its highs. Actually, I want to read. I didn't even get a chance to read this today. Actually, I'm going to leave that up. Let's read Spot Gamma. I want to hear what he said after the NVIDIA stuff. So these are the support and resistance levels. Remember, he's talking about SPX. Those are on. You can get all those levels on Bookmap, the cloud notes, through Spot Gamma. And you guys can this. I think that, did I put that on that sheet? You can get this for free for 2 weeks too. Trial for it. Just use. I gotta put that on there. I don't have it on there. Oh yeah, I do. Just use this code, capital letters Scott, and you get 2 free weeks of any subscription. We'll do the biggest, the highest subscription, and you get everything. But anyway, you get these levels, right? So you can see here, these are the SPX equivalents, the equivalent in the futures. Right, so it looks like it's about 14 points difference. Right, so 52, a little more than that, 52 in here is 16-point difference, is 5066 in, so the futures are about 16 points higher, right? So these are his levels. And all this is what he's showing you here is concentrated, like the call wall. That's where the most calls are, right? And all these levels are where there's a ton. Combo just mean puts and calls. These are areas, on the very most simplistic level, and nothing he does is simplistic, but the way I use them are simplistic, right? They're support and resistance. And they're also kind of like liquidity. The markets gravitate towards them, right? So you can use them as targets. You can use them as support and resistance. Why? Because these dealers have to hedge their futures, hedge their opposition positions with futures at these areas. So you're going to see responses many, many times in those areas. That's what this is telling you too, right? So this is just one entity, but they're a big entity. So go to my website, all that stuff. I did webinars with him. They're all on here. If you want to learn what he's, how I apply his stuff into mine. Right here, how future shows up. So he's on that webinar. He's on this one. I think he's on this one too. This one was from a long time ago. I'm going to get him back on eventually. Dr. Brett. He's the one who wrote the book Enhancing Trader Performance. He's the one who sat behind me for a year. Feel sorry for him. Could you imagine sitting behind me for a year? You guys listen to me in my trade room. Could you imagine me? Back then I was a loose cannon, like complete immature idiot breaking screens and crap. The one time I've told this story before. So there was a guy that manipulated the market. nonstop, like literally manipulated where he was crossing his own orders. I don't want to get into it because I'll get mad, but the point is, the one day I lost like 300 grand in about 5 seconds, and I was about to lose I was losing my mind. And he was in my office that day because he was sitting behind me for a year to figure out what made me tick to put me in the book. And you know, the book's about trading, but it's also about elite performance. So he wanted to see what made me elite, right? So the one day he's sitting behind me, I lose 300 grand in 5 seconds. I almost run him over coming out of my office. I'm gonna kill this dude. I was literally leaving my office to go to the trading firm. This guy, I knew where he was at. I've never met him, but thank God to this day, thank God I've never met him. I was going to the trading firm to literally just pummel the dude. That's how immature I was at the time. And him and the owner of my trading firm had to physically accost me at the exit, at the door, so I wouldn't leave to kill this guy. So as of right now, I might not be even doing these webinars if they let me go. I might be in jail for killing the dude. So thank God for Dr. Brett saving me. All right, let's see what's going on here. And there's just equities are doing nothing now. So this is just sitting in this zone as well. You know, technically I could take, so remember I said at the beginning of this webinar, I'm very bullish this market. I'm ridiculously bullish this market as soon as it gets through this zone. But what can I take here? What were my exact words? I'll still take shorts if they present themselves. If I get the conditions to short it, meaning that is an IZZY zone. We do have volume events in the IZZY zone. I will take a short if this fails out of here, right? I'm completely bullish this market. I am a day trader. Doesn't mean it's going to rip right now. If this moves down lower, why is this not? No, I didn't want to do that. But anyway, I will go short in IZZY if this moves down, and this is the entry price right here. Let's just make sure this ATR is correct. This shows 0.214. Thinkorswim shows 0.216. Right on. See right there? So I will short IZZY if this moves down. You can see the price there in the bottom left, 78.25. Shows my position sizing. I can put on 6. Right? So the whole point is, I'll take a short. If this market's truly bullish, like I think it is, my thesis, this should never violate this zone. Right? Actually, that's not right. You know, it's basing it off this last event. I'm just going to make this one event. So it's showing me the entry point if I was trading just this event. I'm just going to put this, you know, as one event that happened up here. So let's just move this down. Maybe. There we go. Bookmap's a little slow. Come on. There we go. That's another great thing on these things. You can adjust them. And you can draw manually too, right? So if I see a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes you'll see back-to-back volume events that don't hit threshold, so it's not going to draw. So you see like 130 and 130. Well, you definitely want to draw that. So then you just come over here, say it was sell ice, I hit F2, and go like this. Maybe. There it is, right there. Whoop. I don't know why that's not. What am I doing wrong here to draw it? I think I gotta click it one more time. Hold on. There we go. So you draw your own zone too, right? Another great thing about it. All right, so the point is now, here's my new entry. So my entry would be at, if I'm gonna short this IZZY zone, my entry is at 78.08. You see it there in the bottom left. And I can still put on 6. Other than that, I'm taking, if this moves higher, I'm just waiting. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is bullish or bearish until it can hit the ATR. If it's the ATR, then I'm going to go barks and licks, triple size to the upside. Because this thing's very likely going to, you can see all up here. You got this liquidity. I wouldn't be trading in that liquidity, right? Because it's right there, right in front of my entry. But this one definitely, that's another 60, 70 ticks higher. So from the entry. Two different options here for different trading strategies. IZZY trade, I will go short. Barks and licks, I'll take longs. And I'm going to take them triple size. So let's put that in just in case this area failed. Yeah, this area's failed multiple times, right? It's not out of this area yet. So that's why it's an IZZY zone. That's why I'll take a short. This failed, or this ripped down, failed here, tail. This could fail again. This is just a big balance area. Doesn't mean it needs to break out right now. I don't know what it's going to do until I still don't know for sure, but the real-time volume helps guide me, right? And then I'll put on the trade accordingly. Move up one. There we go. All right, so 78.08 is he short? If that comes back, let's put that in. 6. All right, that is working. So the market's completely died. There's nothing going on now. I did lose track of my wheat short. Hopefully it didn't come all the way back on me because I didn't trail my stop. All right, we're here right now. So remember I said, what's retesting? Hold on, guys. What am I doing here? Hold on. This was that bottom of the market profile and that liquidity. So I'm just gonna hop out of here, especially because I can't monitor it. But you can judge. You can sit here and say, oh, is it gonna get through there? It already got through there actually. But I'm not gonna be able to watch this. So that's fine. That's 3 cents away. I'm out. Great trade. That was like I don't even know what that was. That's a huge trade. Monster. It was a 3-yard trade. All right, I'm out of that. So guys, do you see? This is what I'm talking about. Stop pigeonholing yourself into 1 or 2 markets, especially if you have the tool, because it tells you you don't have to watch everything. You just hear it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go look at that. So I entered like here. This was a 20-cent trade. That's the same equivalent value of a 20-point trade in the ES. Those are pretty good, right? The money is just as green in here as it is in any other market. Telling you guys, start watching other markets. All right, so there's really nothing for me to do here. I got stopped out barely, of course. Looked like it was the exact tick stop out, pretty close. Remember, I trailed my stop to that, but it is what it is. I mean, you could have kept your original stop and been fine. If you're completely bullish, say, you know what, I'm just going to keep my original stop in there. You're still alive. I just trailed it like I'm supposed to. I tell you guys every day, at the end of the day, when you judge yourself, you're not judging yourself on P&L. Did you follow your rules? I did nothing wrong here. I got a new event. I got out. If this thing would have gone like that, I'd be happy I got out, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I follow. All you know what to do, all you can do is follow your rules. So I stopped out of that. I'm out. And this is exactly why I didn't get out, or I didn't get back in. Remember I said I was waiting for a test for NASDAQ? I mean, remember I missed this trade at 30, and I would have got out here, this prior event, and VWAP and yellow lug. I'm like, well, I'm not putting it on now if it comes back here because I should have already been out of some. Well, that's why. Now it's ripping up here. Let's see what Algo Guy looks like here. Algo Guy's just pulled bullish again, so there's nothing. I could potentially put on a bark and a lick off this guy to the short side if Algo Guy was bearish, but it is not. So there's nothing for me to do until basically I get new events now. And that's the way I trade, right? And it's going to save you a lot of headache, heartache, just trying to jump in, trying to guess what's happening. You just use this stuff as your guide, and I don't know if I mentioned it's the best edge you will ever see in the history of your trading, in my opinion. All right, any other questions, guys? I still got 10 minutes. There's nothing really going on here, so if you got questions, fire away. Let's see what else went down here. So this is also telling me that prior event was retested. Why is it saying prior? Was there another event in here? Might have been talking about this one. 917, no, it's talking about this event. This was not a prior event. There was not an event since then, was there? I don't see anything. Not sure. Alright, but there's nothing for me to do off of that. The only other thing was gold. Sounds like we missed something here. Might be able to still get in this. So this was a stop run from earlier, but this stop run just happened. Let's see where we're at. Good old gold. That's an Izzy zone, so I could take an Izzy long here. Flexion zone, one of my important areas. Volume event. Stop run. Those are usually they're not initiative. They're retail trader puking. Sometimes they are. That's the stop and hold setup, right? And usually you see the big relative volume behind it, like I showed in crude. Anyway, I could go along this aggressively. Let's just make sure this ATR is correct, and I can do it right off of the chart. ATR is showing at 18, 1.89. So this is off a little, right? 1.48. Guys, this is why we're beta testing. Actually, it might be different. Let's see. That's closer. It's still not. I don't want to. That's a little too far. Showing 1.64. So I would use. I'm using Thinkorswim for now, even though I have more faith in Johan's tool than anything on Thinkorswim. But that's all I've ever used up until now. So I'm going to use that. Zone is 2031.5 to 202.99. Plug that in. Spreadsheet. Very quiet all of a sudden. 1.48. So Izzy zones I take aggressively most circumstances. We have rules for when I don't take them. That's in the trading doc. If you get it when you come in my room. 32 is my entry. I could put on 10. So I should probably already be long this. Yeah. So there. So if this comes back to 32, I'm putting on 10 long Izzy, 10 micro long Izzy. Alright, those are working. I should already be in the trade. I just missed it, but now I get another chance. And I always say, well, if you would have got in there, why did you just get in right here? You're saving some ticks because I feel like I got away with something if it doesn't come back to this price and does one of these. So I wait for the actual price to come back and then I'll get in. You know, you could say I got lucky and I'm gonna get in right here. That's fine too. That's just how I trade it. Other than that, natural gas. Is that in that Izzy zone? I can't remember. All right, I just filled long gold on the Izzy trade. So like I said, you could have taken this, you could take this Izzy at natural gas. It didn't quite get to that zone, but remember, these are zones. They're not exact prices, they're areas, right? So you can say, hey, that's close enough. I got my volume event, Izzy zone. I'm gonna take that long. That entry price would be, again, if the ATR is correct, 96. And you can put on 1.7, round up to 2. So I'll take that trade. I'll take the Izzy trade on natural gas. All right, that's working. So long gold, potentially long natural gas. My stop for gold. Again, this is off a little bit, but I'm just gonna, let's just see here. So I got long at 32, stops at 82. The stop's showing at 80, so pretty close. 82 I'm getting out if this is incorrect. All right, that's working. Other than that, not really doing anything. No questions? All right, other than that, we're pretty much close to the time here and nothing's going on. So we already went over all this stuff. If this fails out of here, I'm taking the short crude, Izzy. If it holds, I'm taking Barks and Licks triple size to the upside because I think that market's going to rip off the page. I think, don't know. I will express my view with trading bigger size. I'll still take shorts. If I get long and it turns in long, I'm firing. Long gold, we just went over that. We'll go long NG, just went over that. And I'm out of my Whopper wheat trade, which was delightful, especially because I didn't have to watch it. And it was, you don't get these kind of moves that often straight. This is a pretty non-torture trade, just straight down. Got something in copper. So guys, once again, even if you don't trade these markets, you can still learn the patterns and the process no matter what market I'm trading. That's the whole idea. And you should be looking at other markets, listening to other markets with the drawing tool. So once again, the drawing tool will hopefully, I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow, but hopefully by next week, it'll be good enough because it's going to be beta. So, I mean, even if there's bugs, I'm sure you guys want it. I mean, it's working pretty well. We'll get the beta out to you. and then eventually it'll be available for purchase. So I'll send an email out. If you have the regular drawing tool, you get the beta, obviously, for free to try it. So I'll send a mass email out when that's ready to go. Here's a copper event if you trade copper. All right, that's it. Thank you guys. Not a lot of action here today. I don't know why, because stuff's going nuts, but there just really wasn't. I did miss this on Q short, so, and I was long and stopped out for break even, and I missed the short. All right, I do this twice a day in my trading room, most days when it's not completely dead. Come on over and learn. I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you.